good people? Rasati out here in Singapore, back again. Want to talk to you real quick because I've been dealing with a lot of my clients lately, and some of them are going through difficult breakups because of the circuit breaker measures that have been taking place here in Singapore. We just got extended to June 1st, and I know a lot of people having a tough time not being able to see their loved ones, finding that, they aren't getting responded to easy enough, people giving up, people don't want to get to know each other, people want to get to know each other. There's so many people on every end of the spectrum, right? But I know none of us are strangers to heartbreak. A lot of us have been through some form of heartbreak at some point in our lives, and we all take it in stride, and we do the best we can with what we know. But for the most part, a lot of us are trying to wall up and protect ourselves because we don't want to get hurt again. And I get that. I really do. It's a process of opening yourself up to someone, and you feel like they need to prove to you that they can be trusted first before you let them in and show them all of who you are. And even then, that's a long process. It's not one of those, I'm going to tell you who I am today, all of it, and you're going to love me tomorrow, and it'll be, happily ever after. It's not like that. It's bit by bit, brick by brick, you take down and let people in. And it's a process where as you let people in, you kind of have to wait and see how they react, how they take it, how are they managing the information that you're giving them before you venture anymore, before you get closer to anybody else. Even in that process, right, it's always a situation at some point where you've opened up more than you have ever before, and the person that you're with at the time somehow decides, okay, you know what, this is too much, I can't handle it, I'm walking away, and suddenly you're devastated and you feel like you could never possibly be beautiful again because you've let them into this inner sanctum almost of who you are, and suddenly they walked away. Now, for those of you out there who are experiencing this right now, my heart goes out to you guys. I know what kind of pain that can be, but I need to give you this little bit of advice because I feel like maybe it will lift that veil a little bit for you. Maybe it'll give you a little brief moment of sanity and happiness because there is light at the end of the tunnel, you guys. I promise. A lot of us don't seem to realize that even though we've given all of ourselves to this person more than we ever have before, we may feel like when they walk away or when they stop responding to us that there's something wrong with us. It isn't about us. It really is not. But it's really hard to get out of your head because guess what? Me included, I would rather know that it's something I did so I can fix it than to just be left with, it's not you, it's me. And then I have to wait and see if you ever come back or not. It's hard. We get attached. We're creatures of pattern, right? We like what we can predict. We like knowing what's going to happen next. We like knowing that we're with somebody and they're going to respond to us and we're going to come back and we're going to be best friends. We're going to be great together, all these things. But it is on the other person whether they choose to leave or choose to come back. Now, that waiting game is no fun either. And like I said, a lot of us want that situation to be in our hands where we can control it so we can do something to fix it. We can help it. We can put it back together. We can go back to the way things were, but that's not the case. And as you can see, life has changed drastically here in 2020, mostly because of one ailment that is affecting billions of people around the world, and there is no set cure for it. All we can do is just be aware that it's there and do the best we can to manage the symptoms, or pray that we heal enough to not be affected by this ever again. So like I said, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I really want to tell you about this. You will feel beautiful again, but that beauty comes from within you. That beauty is not given to you by anybody else. And I understand, I've been there too. I was just doing my own thing and I met a guy, and the guy was great, and I thought, wow, he's pursuing me. Maybe it's something special. Maybe it'll be great. And it wasn't one of those sleazy kind of connections. This happened way back in college. I felt ugly, first of all, because I'd just come out of an adventure to India where I'd come back bald-headed in the middle of my senior year. And I was growing out this really, really messy pixie. And I was trying really hard not to cut, because once you start cutting, you continue cutting, and it just makes that growing out process that much longer. But anyway, so this gentleman was pursuing me in college, and I was really excited because I was always ugly duckling. No one ever was interested in me, and I was kind of like, shocked and bewildered and kind of intrigued, to say the least. So I got excited and I started opening up and telling them who I was and what I was about and all this stuff. And yeah, lo and behold, 8 years later, because we had tons of history, we'd even moved in together, he was cheating on me half the time and I didn't even realize it. So I felt really ugly. Suddenly it was like, okay, well, what kind of girl is he going after? And I don't look like that. Well, what did he even find attractive in me in the first place? And it became this big comparison game of how do I become what he wants rather than being who I am. Bottom line is, it wasn't about me, it was about him. And I had to accept the fact that maybe I was no longer interesting to him, or maybe he had, found a situation where he was no longer comfortable going forward. He wanted to go back instead. Like it was tough. It was my first ever breakup with a first ever boyfriend because I'd never dated anyone before in my life, and I was having a horrible time of it. I did not feel beautiful. And it's one of those things where you need to feel beautiful to feel like you could continue with your life, right? And in those moments where someone's walked away from you, you feel like you screwed up. You're not good enough. If you were good enough, they would have stayed. And if you were beautiful enough, they would have stayed. And if you had enough sex, you would have stayed. And if you cooked well enough, you would have stayed. And if you were clean enough, clean the house well enough, he would have stayed. There are millions of reasons we'll give ourselves for why that person did not stay. But bottom line is, you need to feel beautiful in your skin in order to move forward. The process of going through a breakup is finding yourself again. A lot of times in a relationship, we tend to cater towards the person that we're with. The person I was when he first met me was confident and would take no bullshit and would say what's on her mind, and I wore whatever the fuck I pleased because I was on my own. I had no one to impress. But the minute I started getting into a relationship, what I found was I was catering. I was doing whatever he complimented me on. So if he said, hey, you look really nice in this, this, and this, I would start wearing more of that particular kind of clothing, or I would wear my hair the same way that he said that he liked it. A lot of you girls understand. A lot of you girls have been told that, you look great with long hair, don't cut it ever, and you get the itch to cut, and then you're like, nope, but I might lose my boyfriend, I'm not going to cut my hair. That's not what a healthy relationship looks like. And I know you want to please your man, you want to keep him around longer, but push come to shove, the right man will stay no matter what your hair looks like, right? So these are the things we started compromising throughout our relationship. And I don't know, I can't speak for him, I don't know what he compromised, but I tried my best not to let him change. I tried my best to let him be who he was, no matter what I was going through. But I definitely changed, I'm not going to lie, I definitely changed. I went from someone who's really self-confident to someone who was worried about whether I would please him or not. Worried about whether he would walk away if I did something he didn't like or not. And so I changed all of my habits, all of my behavior, the way I looked, the way I spoke, the things I paid attention to. He used to make fun of me because we watched football together, and he was a football player, so I wanted to learn more about the game so I could cheer him on and sound like I know what I was talking about. And he would make fun of the fact that I didn't know enough. I didn't grow up with football when I was, growing up. I grew up around the world, so American football was not something I was familiar with, and I wasn't allowed in high school to watch the games or be social in any capacity. I was always told to come straight back home. So I changed a lot. I did everything I could to please him, but therein lies the problem, because I stopped feeling beautiful in my own skin, and I started only to feel beautiful when he complimented me. And that's something we all need to work on. So if you're going through a breakup, please understand this journey now is about finding yourself again, finding what makes you feel beautiful, finding your song, finding your theme song. Maybe you have to be angry for a little while to kind of get through it. Maybe you're going to go through cycles of anger and sadness. It's normal. All of it is normal. But understand this. Until you feel strong in your own skin, until you feel invincible and happy and comfortable doing the things that you love without anyone else's comment, you will suffer. It will be a suffering process. But that's part of the game too. It's part of it to actually go through the sadness and the pain of it all, the wondering if you're good enough or not, until you realize, you know what? I like this and it makes me happy, and whether the other person likes it or not, it doesn't matter because it makes me happy. This is what I need to be more of myself. This is what I need to love myself more, and this is where you need to be. This is how you find more about yourself. This is why I teach self-awareness in the form of emotional intelligence. If you pay attention to your emotions, when they spike up in happiness and when they drop in depression, when you feel anxiety, when you feel anger, all those things tell you more about yourself. What will you tolerate? What will you accept as love? How do you understand love? What does it mean to you to give and show love? All of those things matter, but it doesn't matter as much as loving the skin that you're in. And that means tuning out what the rest of the world is telling you and paying attention to what your soul is telling you. You may have spots. You may be in a wheelchair. You may not have the use of one arm. You may not have the stamina that most people have when it comes to working out. You may not be able to work out because of a heart condition. You may not be able to focus the way you want to because of a mental condition that you're having trouble focusing. It could be any one of a million things. But the point being that whatever you are, however you are, whatever you feel, you have to love you first. And you have to stay loving you no matter what. Now, the right person that comes along will encourage you to strengthen and broaden your horizons, which means you add to the list of things that make you happy, not take away. You should never reduce the things that make you happy. You should never stop doing the things that have always made you happy. Sometimes those things will change as you grow older. Obviously, cartoons will always have a special place in my heart, but I can only take so much of Transformers and Phineas and Ferb and Gravity Falls and all the new cartoons. There's only so much I can take of that. And even then, there's only so many Disney movies I can watch in a row. I gotta have some adult material after that, right? So the point being, allow yourself the ability to change, which means you will never fully know who you are or what you're capable of unless you continually push yourself and learn more about yourself. But the bottom line is, you need to feel beautiful in your skin. You need to be at home in your body. You need to feel invincible inside of your body. Now, I'm not a very big person. I'm kind of tall, kind of lanky. I'm not really muscular or anything. But I tell you what, I feel like I take up a lot of room. I feel like I'm strong enough to kick your ass, and I feel beautiful depending on what I'm wearing. Now, there are those days where I don't feel so great either, and those are those moments that you can't be perfect all the time, but I will find one thing about the outfit that I might like, or one thing about my hair that looks gorgeous, and I'll go with that for the moment. And that's enough. That is enough. I need you to find your beauty. I need you to find what it is that you love about your body. Find one thing that you're just grateful you have. No one else has it. You have. Maybe it's a mole in a specific spot. Maybe it's the way your hair curls. Maybe it's the color of your eyes. Whatever it is, that one thing that you love, learn to love that and flaunt that as much as you can. And once you love that one thing, you'll find other things that you really love about yourself. Eventually, it'll be more things that you love than you don't. And that's all you need, because this body is the one thing that will last you the rest of your life. This body, this mind. Your experiences will come and go. Your feelings will come and go. The people in your life will come and go. But this body, this mindset is going to be with you forever. Whether you're in the dark or in the light, it's going to be with you. Learn to love yourself. Find your shade of beauty. But in the meantime, if you need help, you know where to find me. You guys, if you have any questions or comments, anything at all about what I've said in this podcast today, please drop them in the comments below. I want to hear from you. But in the meantime, find something you absolutely love and adore about yourself and flaunt that today. I want to see you smile for real. All right, you guys, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.